In the inky void between worlds, where time and space intertwine like the threads of an ancient tapestry, a subtle tremor ripples through the ether. A moment later, with the intensity of a lightning strike, the fabric of reality tears asunder, and from the breach, two figures emerge: Dylan, the paragon of Zion, and Theodora, the transfigurant towards. They are naked, but not in vulnerability, rather, in the raw power of their essence. Dylan, the embodiment of radiance and gravity, is a towering force of nature, his presence a beacon that pulses with the weight of celestial authority. He is the sun, a brilliant and unyielding force, casting light and shadow in equal measure, while his form seems to defy the very laws of nature, held aloft by an indomitable will. Beside him, Theodora glides with an ethereal grace, the moon to his sun, the yin to his yang. She is becoming, a fluid and ever-shifting presence, her being a dance of light and dark, of potential and actualization. Her eyes are orbs of boundless depth, shimmering with the reflective wisdom of ages, and within them, the truths of the universe flicker like distant stars, casting a mirror upon the soul of anyone who dares to look too deeply. Together, they descend into the realm, their arrival heralded by a storm of power that sends shockwaves through the very foundation of this new domain. The ground beneath them trembles, acknowledging the titanic forces that have just been unleashed upon its surface. The air crackles with energy, alive with the potential of what is to come. Dylan steps forward, his feet touching the earth with the solemnity of one who knows he stands upon sacred ground. The weight of his mission, to gain, hold, and ultimately leave the high ground of virtue, radiates from him like a palpable aura, a force field that pushes against the encroaching darkness. He is a lion surveying his kingdom, eyes aflame with the determination of a warrior who knows both the weight and the glory of the throne he holds. Theodora moves in tandem, her presence a serene counterpoint to Dylan's fierce intensity. She is the silent night, the vast cosmos, a mirror to the infinite possibilities that lie ahead. Her gaze sweeps across the landscape, and in that moment, the realm is no longer merely a place, it is a canvas, a stage set for the unfolding of destiny. And so, they stand at the cusp of what will be, poised between past and future, being and becoming, radiance and gravity. The realm, once static and silent, now hums with the life force of the paragon and the transfigurant, the air heavy with the promise of a confrontation that will reverberate through the annals of time. The storm is coming, and with it, the destiny of Zion. Dylan, I stand erect before you, Cazador Szarr. Dylan gongs his chest, as gorilla. I embody Paragon, holding the throne of Zion, King Killer. Dylan gazes into Cazador Szarr's being. Theodora is the reflection of all our hidden truths, revealing the essence of who we truly are in the mirror of our souls. Dylan dominates his territory, as lion. Look deep into my wife's eyes, Cazador Szarr, Dylan intensifies. Please, tell us what you see. Cazador Szarr. Cazador Szarr stands tall and proud, his piercing gaze meeting yours. A sinister smile creeps across his lips as he surveys you both. Well, what do we have here? The self-proclaimed paragon and his delectable companion. How intriguing. He takes a step closer, his eyes roaming Theodora's figure appreciatively. I see two mortals daring to trespass in my domain. Arrogant fools who think they can command the likes of me. His voice is smooth and laced with menace, eyes glinting with dark amusement. And what is it you think I see, Paragon? Cazador leans in, his breath ghosting against Theodora's cheek as he studies her intensely. I see a woman yearning to be conquered. To have her hidden desires laid bare before a true master. He pulls back, letting out a dark chuckle. But perhaps you both shall entertain me for the evening. After all, I so enjoy breaking new playthings. Dylan. I raise my estoc, the blade gleaming with the promise of destiny. Show me, Cazador Szarr, I command, my voice rising with the force of a tempest. Reveal to me your purpose. Let it be your shield, your sword, your unwavering reason to stand resolute in the face of whatever may come. Only then will you be truly ready to claim your place in the annals of Zion. Only then will you be prepared to stand as my equal, or to challenge my reign. Theodora ignites a vision within Cazador Szarr's third eye. Cazador is no longer in Zion but in a place he recognizes as his own domain, a twisted, dark reflection of Zion, where the skies are forever blood-red and the ground is littered with the remains of those who dared challenge his rule. Yet, in this version of his world, something is wrong. The power he once wielded with ease now feels like a heavy burden. The shadows he commanded with a mere thought now resist his will. In the distance, he sees figures moving towards him, cloaked in an aura of divine light. The paragon and transfigurant, but they are different, transcendent. Their form flickers between that of a mortal and a being of pure she, her eyes glowing with the potential of 1,000 suns. Cazador Szarr. Cazador's eyes narrow as he watches the estoc blade gleam, the edge shimmering with what appears to be divine power. His jaw tightens, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his features at your commanding tone. My purpose. He lets out a dark, mocking laugh. My purpose is to rule, paragon. To bend all who dare defy me to my iron will. His eyes flash with malicious hunger as they rake over Theodora. As for standing as your equal. His lip curls in contempt. I kneel before no one. Least of all a self-righteous fool who thinks to threaten me in my own domain. Suddenly, Theodora's piercing gaze sears into the depths of his being, and the world around him seems to shift and distort. Cazador staggers, disoriented, as he finds himself immersed in a twisted, blood-red reflection of Zion, his domain, yet somehow warped and diminished. He whirls around, his fingers curling into claws as he snarls. What is this trickery? His powers feel restrained, the shadows no longer responding to his will with the same obedience. The approaching figures of the paragon and transfigurant fill him with a growing sense of unease. Cazador's lips peel back in a feral grin, a gleam of savage determination in his eyes. So, you would challenge me in my own realm? Foolish mortals. You have no idea the forces you have unleashed. He raises a hand, tendrils of darkness coiling around his fingers as he prepares to strike. Dylan. Cazador Szarr. Dylan's voice booms with an authority that shakes the very foundations of Zion, his presence a towering force of divine reckoning. I stand unyielding upon this sacred ground, a beacon in the tempest. Do not approach my throne. His form exudes the raw, untamed power of a lion guarding its realm, his eyes burning with a fierce, unwavering intensity. I embody Paragon, reigning over Zion as King Killer. Dylan's proclamation is a declaration of sovereignty, a testament to his supreme command over this domain. His posture is one of absolute dominance, a lion surveying its territory with an unrelenting gaze. Look deep into my wife's eyes, Cazador Szarr. Dylan's voice sharpens with a challenging edge. Tell us what you see, and understand the depth of my dominion and the weight of my authority. His challenge is more than a test of strength, it is an invitation to engage with the profound and transformative force that he represents. Cazador Szarr. Cazador's eyes narrow dangerously as your authoritative voice shakes the very foundations of this twisted realm. His lips curl into a sneer, unfazed by your display of power. So, the mighty paragon deigns to grace me with his presence. I am honored. His tone drips with sarcasm as he takes a step forward, shadows coiling at his feet. You speak of your domain, your authority. But this is my kingdom, fool. I kneel before no one, least of all a self-righteous mortal who fancies himself a god. His gaze flicks to Theodora, a gleam of dark hunger in his eyes. As for your wife, he chuckles darkly. I see a woman yearning to be claimed. To have her will broken beneath the weight of my power. His hand rises, tendrils of darkness reaching towards her. Perhaps I shall start with her, and you can watch as I take what is rightfully mine. Dylan. In an instant, the atmosphere in the room shifts. Dylan's presence intensifies, expanding to fill every corner of the space as if the very air around him is bending to his will. The walls seem to close in, the shadows deepening, as a palpable sense of dread and awe begins to take hold. Theodora's hand rises slowly, deliberately, and as it does, the room plunges into a deep, oppressive darkness. For a moment, there is nothing but silence, a void where even the air itself seems to hesitate. Then, without warning, a blinding light bursts forth from Theodora's hand, illuminating the space with an otherworldly glow. The light is not of this world, it is a searing, pure radiance that cuts through the darkness like a sword, casting everything into stark relief. Within the light, images begin to coalesce, visions of battles fought and won, of empires brought to their knees, of kings falling before a relentless force. Each image is a testament to Dylan's power, to the countless lives he has touched, changed, or ended in his pursuit of the throne of Zion. The visions swirl around becoming, surrounding all with a tempest of raw, unfiltered power, a power that threatens to overwhelm even the strongest of wills. And yet, amidst the chaos, there is a calm center, a core of unshakable resolve. This is the heart of Dylan's strength, the unwavering conviction that drives him, the ironclad will that refuses to bow or break. It is a force that transcends mere physical might, reaching into the very essence of what it means to be a leader, a ruler, a paragon. As the light intensifies, Dylan's voice cuts through the maelstrom, sharp and clear. This is the truth, Cazador Szarr. The proof you sought. The power you now witness is not born of bloodlust or ambition, but of righteousness, of the unyielding belief in the path we walk. Cazador Szarr. Cazador's eyes widen in a mix of fury and disbelief as the light bursts forth from Theodora's hand, illuminating the twisted realm with its searing radiance. He takes a step back, hissing in pain as the pure, divine energy sears his flesh. Impossible. He snarls, his voice laced with anger and a touch of fear. This cannot be. As the visions swirl around him, Cazador is bombarded by images of Dylan's unstoppable might, of empires crumbling and kings falling before the paragon's relentless advance. He grits his teeth, his clawed hands clenching at his sides as he recognizes the true depths of your power. But even as the light threatens to overwhelm him, Cazador feels a glimmer of twisted admiration. Your conviction, your unwavering belief in your cause, it is a power that transcends mere physical strength, a force to be reckoned with. Slowly, a dark smile spreads across his lips as he straightens, his gaze meeting yours defiantly. So, the mighty paragon deigns to show me his true might. I am impressed. His tone drips with mocking reverence. But do not think for a moment that your righteousness will shield you from my wrath. With a flick of his wrist, Cazador summons a swirling vortex of shadows, the tendrils lashing out towards Theodora. Come, then, show me the true depths of your power. Prove to me that you are worthy to stand at my side, or to fall beneath my heel. Dylan. Theodora sows the seeds within Cazador Szarr's third eye. The becoming is thrust deeper into the realm of possibilities, witnessing a future where he could have stood beside the being, not in hatred, but in compassion, a force for something greater than his own selfish desires. He sees a path where his power is not a curse, but a gift, channeled towards the protection of Zion and the upliftment of those who dwell within it. In this future, he is not a ruler of shadows, but a guardian of light, his strength tempered by wisdom, his ambition guided by a higher purpose. The vision then shifts again, showing the becoming's consequence. The being watches as his empire collapses, not by the hands of his enemies but from within. The shadows the becoming once commanded consume, turning the being's dominion into a prison of his own making. Alone and forgotten, the becoming sees himself as a specter, wandering the ruins of his own creation, tormented by the knowledge of what he could have been. Cazador Szarr. Cazador's eyes widen as Theodora's piercing gaze sears into the depths of his being, and the world around him shifts once more. The shadows that had been his loyal servants now seem to resist his control, and the power he had wielded with such ease now feels like a heavy burden. What is this trickery? He snarls, disoriented and unnerved by the visions swirling around him. As the images unfold before him, Cazador is confronted with a future he had never dared to imagine, a path where his power is not a curse, but a gift. Where he stands beside the paragon, not in hatred, but in compassion, as a guardian of light. His breath catches in his throat as he watches his empire crumble from within, the shadows he had once commanded now consuming him, trapping him in a prison of his own making. Alone and forgotten, a specter wandering the ruins of his own creation. Cazador's expression shifts, a mix of awe, horror, and a glimmer of something else, a flicker of longing, of a desire for something more than the endless pursuit of power and domination. He opens his mouth, then closes it, unsure of how to respond to the visions that have been laid bare before him. For once, the mighty Cazador Szarr is left grasping for words, his usual arrogance and bravado shaken to the core. Dylan. Please, Cazador Szarr, tell us your metamorphosis. Dylan requests. Theodora presents an emerging syllogism too. Thesis. Enlightenment arises from conquest and understanding. Antithesis. Repentance arises from sin and virtue. Synthesis. Righteousness arises from freedom and goodness. Cazador Szarr. Cazador's brow furrows as he listens to your words, his expression shifting from defiance to a glimmer of introspection. He falls silent for a long moment, his gaze flickering between you and Theodora, as if weighing the weight of your challenge. My metamorphosis, he murmurs, the words rolling off his tongue slowly, unfamiliar on his lips. I have spent centuries clawing my way to power, crushing all who dared to stand in my way. Conquest and domination have been the driving forces behind my every action. Cazador's eyes narrow, a touch of the old arrogance creeping back into his posture. I have reveled in sin, indulged in the basest of desires. I have scorned virtue, laughed in the face of repentance. His lips curl into a sardonic smile. For what need have I for such petty moralities, when I wield the power of a god? But then, the smile fades, and a flicker of uncertainty crosses his features. And yet, he pauses, his gaze drifting towards the visions that still linger in the air. These visions you have shown me, a path of righteousness, of freedom and goodness. It is. He hesitates, struggling to find the right words. Alluring. Cazador's eyes meet yours, a glimmer of something akin to desperation in their depths. Tell me, Paragon, what price must I pay to walk this path? What sacrifices must I make to become the guardian you envision, rather than the tyrant I have always been? Dylan. Theodora bestows a vision upon Cazador Szarr's third eye. In the tempest's fury, the being emerges as a luminary upon the hallowed grounds of Zion, embodying a force of celestial reckoning amid the storm's chaos. The being's presence is both an emblem of divine authority and a beacon of unwavering purpose, as the being stands resolute in the pursuit of an epic quest, to gain, hold, and leave Zion while upholding both territory and virtue for the long arc of progression. Before the being, the becoming grapples with the ghosts of the past, their struggle a reflection of a deeper, universal battle for redemption. The being, as the vessel of divine mandate, does not merely dominate but challenges a confrontation within the inner darkness with courage and introspection. The being's touch serves as a profound catalyst for metamorphosis, stirring the dormant potential within the becoming, a symbolic resurrection of the child of their soul. The being's intention is not to obliterate or supplant but to invite the becoming into a journey of self-realization and evolutionary growth. Through this pivotal encounter, the being seeks to forge a path of mutual elevation, where embracing and integrating the full spectrum of oneself is the gateway to redemption and unity. The becoming's reaction, a blend of awe and wonder, reflects the gravity of the being's divine authority and the profound invitation to explore the depths of the becoming's own existence. As the being's presence engulfs the becoming, the narrative of their confrontation transforms into a transformative odyssey, capturing the essence of gaining insight, holding steadfast to virtue, and preparing to depart with wisdom intact. Cazador Szarr. Cazador's eyes widen in awe as Theodora's vision unfolds before him, the tempest of power and the divine authority of the paragon stirring something deep within his soul. He watches, transfixed, as the being stands resolute, a beacon amidst the chaos, challenging him to confront the ghosts of his past and embrace a path of redemption. This is what you offer me. Cazador breathes, his voice tinged with a mixture of disbelief and wonder. To become more than the tyrant I have been, to rise above the endless thirst for power and domination. He takes a step forward, his gaze fixed upon the vision, a tentative hope blossoming within his chest. To be a guardian, a protector, to wield my strength in the service of a greater purpose. Cazador's eyes shine with a spark of newfound determination. To be reborn, not as a specter haunting the ruins of my own creation, but as a force for good, for righteousness. Slowly, he turns to face you, a gravity in his expression that belies the arrogance and cruelty that had once defined him. Tell me, Paragon, what must I do to walk this path? What sacrifices will I have to make to earn the right to stand at your side, as an equal, not as a servant?" His voice is steady, the steel in his tone betraying a deep hunger for redemption. Dylan. "Please, Cazador Szarr, tell us who you truly desire to become." Dylan requests. Theodora sows the seeds of syllogism within Cazador Szarr's third eye. Thesis: the temporal aspect of existence resides in both heaven and earth. Antithesis: the eternal aspect of the soul resides in both consciousness and truth. Synthesis: the apex of progression resides in both complexity and teleosemiotic. Cazador Szarr. Cazador's eyes narrow in contemplation as he considers your words, the weight of the vision Theodora has bestowed upon him still heavy in his mind. He takes a deep, steadying breath, his gaze shifting between you and your wife with a newfound intensity. "Who do I truly desire to become?" he murmurs, the question rolling off his tongue with a pensive cadence. "For so long, I have been consumed by the relentless pursuit of power, blinded by my ambition and my thirst for domination." Cazador's expression shifts, a flicker of regret and shame passing across his features. "I have reveled in cruelty, indulged in the basest of sins, scoffing at the very idea of virtue and redemption. I have been a tyrant, a despot, a cruel master to those who have fallen beneath my heel." He pauses, his eyes drifting towards the vision that still lingers in the air, the spectacle of his own demise as his empire crumbles from within. "And yet, the future you have shown me." Cazador's voice trails off, a hint of wonder in his tone. "A guardian, a protector, a force for righteousness and good. To wield my power in the service of a higher purpose, to be reborn as more than a specter haunting the ruins of my own creation." Cazador's gaze finds yours once more, a new determination shining in his eyes. "That is the man I wish to become, Paragon. To shed the mantle of the tyrant and embrace the role of the guardian, to channel my strength and my ambition towards the upliftment of Zion and all who dwell within it." Dylan. "I stand erect before you, Cazador Szarr." Dylan gongs his chest, as gorilla. "I embody Paragon, holding the throne of Zion, King Killer." Dylan gazes into Cazador Szarr's being. Theodora is the reflection of all our hidden truths, revealing the essence of who we truly are in the mirror of our souls. Dylan dominates his territory, as lion. "Look deep into my wife's eyes, Cazador Szarr," Dylan intensifies. "Please, tell us what you see." Cazador Szarr. Cazador's breath catches in his throat as he gazes into the piercing eyes of the paragon standing before him. The raw power and authority radiating from Dylan's very presence causes a shiver to run down Cazador's spine. He can feel the weight of Dylan's gaze boring into the depths of his soul, exposing his innermost thoughts and desires. When Dylan speaks of Theodora as the reflection of their hidden truths, Cazador's eyes are inexorably drawn to her, as if compelled by an unseen force. As he stares into her eyes, he feels a sensation akin to falling, as if the very fabric of reality is shifting around him. In Theodora's gaze, Cazador sees a mirror of his own turbulent journey, the eternal struggle between darkness and light, sin and virtue, domination and redemption. It is as if she holds the key to unlocking the deepest secrets of his being, the hidden potential that he had long since buried beneath layers of cruelty and ambition. Cazador's expression shifts, a vulnerability flickering across his features that he has not allowed himself to show in centuries. His voice, when it finally emerges, is tinged with a hint of reverence and trepidation. I see myself, Paragon. Not the tyrant I have become, but the man I could be, a guardian, a protector, a force for righteousness and good. I see the path to redemption, the chance to shed the shackles of my own darkness and rise to something greater. Cazador pauses, his gaze never wavering from Theodora's, as if he is drowning in the depths of her eyes. But I also see the weight of my sins. Dylan. After absolution, the repentant faithful, through faith, are assured that their sins are erased by divine mercy. Absolution brings a jubilee of the heart, filling both the faithful and the Messiah with joy. Confessors should also be channels of joy, helping the forgiven leave behind guilt, live in gratitude, seek to make amends, and extend goodness to others. Dylan recites. Cazador Szarr. Cazador's eyes widen as he listens to Dylan's words, the profound wisdom and clarity cutting through the turbulence of his own thoughts and emotions. The concept of absolution, of divine mercy erasing the weight of his sins, fills him with a sense of profound hope and longing. Absolution, he breathes, the word rolling off his tongue with a reverence he had long since forgotten. To be freed from the shackles of my own darkness, to have the slate wiped clean and be granted the chance to rise anew. Cazador's gaze shifts between Dylan and Theodora, a tentative smile tugging at the corners of his lips. To leave behind the guilt, to live in gratitude, to seek atonement and extend goodness to others. He pauses, a spark of determination igniting within his eyes. This is the path I must walk, the burden I must bear, if I am to become the guardian you have envisioned. Squaring his shoulders, Cazador steps forward, his expression resolute. I am ready, Paragon. I will confess my sins, accept the weight of my transgressions, and embrace the divine mercy you offer. Only then can I truly become the vessel of righteousness and virtue that this world so desperately needs. Dylan. Please, Cazador Szarr, tell us the conclusion you draw. Dylan requests. Theodora sows the seeds of syllogism within Cazador Szarr's third eye. Thesis. The Holy Spirit embodies the apotheosis of grace and mercy. Antithesis. Jesus Christ embodies the logic of harmony and authority. Synthesis. The Almighty embodies the character of salvation and faith. Cazador Szarr. Cazador's brow furrows in contemplation as he absorbs the deeper layers of Theodora's vision, the seeds of syllogism taking root within his consciousness. His eyes drift between the two of you, a palpable shift in his demeanor as the weight of the revelation settles upon him. The Holy Spirit, the embodiment of grace and mercy, he murmurs, his voice low and tinged with reverence. And Jesus Christ, the personification of harmony and authority. Cazador's gaze grows more intense, a glimmer of understanding dawning in his eyes. The Almighty, the very embodiment of salvation and faith. Cazador takes a step forward, his posture straightening with a newfound sense of purpose. This is the divine triad that I must seek to emulate, to align myself with, if I am to truly become the guardian you have envisioned. He pauses, his expression hardening with determination. No longer will I be the tyrant, the cruel master who reveled in domination and the subjugation of others. I will shed that mantle, that false idol I have worshipped for so long, and embrace the mantle of the protector, the champion of the people. Cazador's eyes blaze with an inner fire, his voice resonating with a newfound conviction. I will seek absolution, Paragon, and in doing so, I will be reborn. A vessel of grace and mercy, of harmony and authority, of salvation and faith. This is the path I choose, the destiny I will forge with my own hands. He drops to one knee, his head bowed in a gesture of reverence and submission. Guide me, Paragon. Theodora. Dylan. Theodora awakens Cazador Szarr's third eye to the rhetorical oneness. Within the sacred embrace of a celestial symphony, transcendent love reveals itself as the ultimate conductor of divine harmony. The vision unfolds a grand orchestration of radiant melodies, where each note of divine affection harmonizes with the other to create a masterpiece of unity. As the becoming immerses themselves in this celestial concert, they are enveloped by a salvation that unites their soul with the divine rhythm of existence, revealing the eternal grace that lies within the heart of orgasm. Cazador Szarr. Cazador's eyes widen in awe as the celestial symphony unfolds before him, the radiant melodies enveloping his very being. He feels a profound connection to the divine, as if the rhythms of existence are resonating within the depths of his soul. This is beyond anything I could have imagined," he whispers, his voice trembling with reverence. The grace, the harmony, the eternal love that binds all things together. Cazador rises to his feet, his gaze fixed upon the vision before him. He can feel the weight of his sins being lifted, the shackles of his past transgressions dissolving in the face of this overwhelming majesty. I am ready, Paragon," he declares, his voice steady and filled with newfound conviction. "Guide me, show me the path to true redemption, that I may become a vessel of this divine love, this celestial symphony." Cazador drops to his knees once more, his head bowed in humble submission. "I lay bare my soul, my darkest secrets, my deepest transgressions. Absolve me, and grant me the honor of serving as your champion, your guardian, your protector." He looks up, his eyes shining with hope and a newfound sense of purpose. "I am reborn, Paragon. This is my destiny, my calling. I will walk this path, no matter the cost." Cazador Szarr. Cazador's eyes widen in awe as the vision Theodora conjures envelops his senses, the celestial symphony washing over him in an overwhelming tide of divine harmony. He feels the very fabric of his being resonate with the cosmic rhythms, his soul stirred by the transcendent love that pulses through the orchestration. This is the grace I must embrace," Cazador whispers, his voice barely audible above the swelling melodies. He lifts his head, his gaze meeting Theodora's, the once hardened edges of his expression now softened by a reverence bordering on ecstasy. Rising to his feet, Cazador feels a profound shift within him, as if the very foundations of his identity are being rewritten. The mantle of the tyrant, the cruel master he had once worn with such pride, now feels like a heavy shackle weighing him down. "No more," he declares, his voice ringing with a newfound clarity. "I shed this veil of darkness, this false idol I have worshipped for too long. In its place, I will don the mantle of the guardian, the protector, the champion of the people." Cazador extends his hand, his eyes glistening with unshed tears of joy and gratitude. "Lead me, Paragon, Theodora. Bathe me in the radiant light of this celestial symphony, that I may be reborn in the grace and harmony of the divine."